Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. How's everyone doing? Hope everything is going on great from your side. So, before we start, just a quick check. Are you actually following along with the series or just watching passively? Because trust me, DSA is something you learn by doing, not just watching. And if you are new here, welcome to the channel. We are currently building a complete DSA journey in Java from scratch, step by step, in a simplest way possible. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and join us because this is going to be long, consistent journey. And for those who have been watching from day one, seriously, thank you guys. The consistency you are showing right now is exactly what's going to separate you from others during the interview. So this is day two of our DSS series. In the last video, we built a strong foundation. We talked about what is data structures, what is algorithms and time complexity, and how to think like a problem solver instead of just memorizing code. Now, today we are stepping into something that looks simple on the surface, but is actually one of the most important topic in DSA, that is arrays. Almost every coding interviews, every platforms like LeetCode, it may be HackerRank, arrays are everywhere. And more importantly, arrays are where you start learning powerful techniques like two pointers, it may be sliding window, and so on. So don't take this topic lightly just because it looks basic. If you master arrays, you are building a very strong base for everything that comes next. Also, quick request, if you're enjoying this series, do share it with your friends, classmates, or colleagues who are also preparing for the interviews or just for the college things. Let's grow together and stay consistent. And I really want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me, are you able to understand everything so far? Are you practicing along with me? And how many hours are you putting into DSA daily? I read all your comments and it really helps me to improve the content for you. Alright, enough talking. Grab your laptop, open your IDE, and let's actually start coding. Let's dive into arrays. So first, let's understand what arrays are. An array is a collection of elements which are stored in a contiguous memory location. They comes under the data type. It allows multiple values to be stored under a single name and accessed using an index. So Java arrays can be both primitive types and object. When we use array of primitive types, the element will be stored in contiguous locations, and for non-primitive types, references to items are stored at contiguous locations. So the first element of an array will be at index 0. It starts from 0, 1, 2, and so on. It don't start from 1, so keep it in mind. So after creating an array, its size will be fixed. We cannot change it. So let's let's take an example. Let's say you will be having a marks for the five students. Okay, so it will be like 85, 90, 78, 92, and 88. Now imagine storing this usually using the normal variables. So usually what you do is you will take a integer, a variable, and store its values. So fine. For now, I will be having a five values. So it will be okay for you to store for different variables. But what if I have for 100 students and say suppose like 500 students? It will be difficult to hold the things up. That's where arrays come in. Okay. So see, what happens is there are different ways of declaring or initializing a array. So this one, what you are seeing here, is one of the type. So here what we are taking is we are taking a variable called marks and we are storing it inside the array. So they are the fixed numbers. And instead of creating a multiple variables, we are using just one, that is marks. Okay. Array is a collection of elements stored in continuous memory location. And think it of like it's a box that has multiple values in order, that is 85, 90, and so on. Okay, so as I said, 85 comes under 0th index, 90 comes 1, and next will be 2, and so on. So this is what I have written over here. Every element has a position called an index. So what we learned so far is we can declare when we are having a lot of data, sort of values, we can declare it using an array. And in arrays, they are in a continuous memory location and index will be starting from 0. And yeah, when you want to call it, suppose you want to take, when you want to take 85, you're printing as marks of 0. This is how you print the first mark. And then you remember the time complexity, right? So when you take this kind of the things, it will hold your memory and the time complexity will be also, they're not usual. So array takes constant time. This, if you remember, this is the constant time complexity. So because we already know where it is. See, if you want to know where exactly will be the 92, then it will be in the third index, right? So this is where the array comes into picture. So let's see some of the operations on array. So first is accessing the elements. That is, if you want to access, as I told it over the here, you can just print it out. Like if you just call system.out.println, they are just used for printing the statements and marks of 2. So here, if you see, marks of 2 is 78. So 78 will be printed in your output. So traversing. So what exactly you're doing is you're traversing over all the marks. So you had some 85, 90, 35, 78. So what happening here is it is going from first till last. So traversing, what it is happening is we are calling a loop. So I haven't covered the loop concept yet. So I will be covering in the small video. I will provide a small video in the description part, and I will explain about the loop and printing statements and so on. So which you should be knowing as a basic. So for is a loop where you're calling int I is equal to 0. Why are you taking int if you are having doubt here? See, either you can declare I as an integer over in the loop, or you can declare it out of the loop also. So here what exactly is happening is, let me just erase the things over here. It will be easy for me to explain. Yeah, perfect. So it is traveling from int I is equal to 0 and I less than marks dot length and I plus plus. So here what is happening is it is increasing. Okay, first basically I is taking the 0 index, that is so if you see here, 0th index we are having 85. So it is traversing from 0th index till the marks dot length. So and then we are printing each and every marks in the next println statement. So you can refer to this also. And we also have something called updating the values. So what if you just manually you were typing and some error happened? So you can also manually update, like marks of one was something else, but I updated it as something else. So you can modify the values anytime. Okay. So now So now let's just solve a real world problem, that is finding the maximum element. So how will you find the topper in a class? You will compare one by one, right? So here is a code. So first what we are doing is we are just assuming the maximum marks, like we are just taking marks of 0 to be the maximum, like that he or she is a topper. We are just assuming it. Then we are comparing for each and every student. Since we took the 0th index, we will start by I is equal to 1. So I less than marks dot length and I plus plus. Okay. So if marks of I, so first what happens is marks of first index student is greater than max. What was max? It was this one. Okay. So what happens? We are just updating max to be marks of 1. And next what happens is I will be 2. Okay. Because here if you see it is being incremented, like increased. Okay. I is increased. So if we are comparing, if either marks of 2 is greater than max, then again we are updating max to be equal to marks of second student. If it is not, like if the marks of second student is not greater than max, then we are just going out of the loop. But if it is greater, then we are just updating it. So the same holds good for marks dot length, that is how much ever we are taking the elements. Okay. So what exactly happens in the arrays as a whole is index out of bounds. So what exactly this error is, suppose we are having marks to be equal to 85, 90, 100, 89 and some 75. Okay. So what we are having is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. What happens if I just gonna print marks of fifth indexed one? So what happens here is we don't have a fifth index, right? We don't have assigned any values for the fifth index. So it will be an error. It will throw you index out of bound error. And wrong loop conditions is also one of the common mistakes you do. And forgetting initialization, that is I is equal to, if you wanted to take it from the middle or some second element, and if you just give 0, this will be the case. Okay, so these are some of the common mistakes which you should avoid in the arrays. So what and all today you have learned. So I will be doing another video, another 5 to 6 videos on arrays. So it will cover every interview questions. So today what and all you have learned is what is array, and how we can declare an array, that is using this data type, array name, that is int some random a. Okay, this is how you declare an array. There is another way of declaring it, that is you just write data type first and array name and then the colon. Yep. So this is where another type of thing comes, that is like this. Okay. So this is the declaration part. Next we saw about initializing an array. So how we can initialize an array, that is int, that is the data type, and array name, and new is the keyword we are using to initialize, and int of size. If you declare any size to be 5 or anything, it will be a fixed value. You can't add sixth element into it. So for collections that can grow or shrink dynamically, Java provides classes like ArrayList or vector. Memory for arrays will always be located on the heap in Java, and if you want to know about initializing using an array literal, then int array is equal to some random 1, 2, 3. The length of this array determines the length of the created array. There is no need to write the new int for this. So if you write here, if I just compare these both, is equal to new int of 5. What it happens in the memory location is 0, 3, 4, 5. Everything will be 0 here. And what exactly is happening over here is we are just declaring the values to be inside the memory location. Okay, so next part was operations on array, which was like first one was to access it. So to access it, we just use the system.out.println and access the element index which we are going to use, and then updating. So just you are going to tell which exact index has which exact value. And next we had traversing. You just create a loop, and inside that you are going to print array of I and size of the array. If you want to print, then you just call this function array.length, and pretty much we have covered in this. So I'm making this video short and I'm cutting it over here. So in the next we will be solving some of the few problems, and I will keep one problem per session, and hope you guys enjoyed it and you understood everything whatever I have taught in this video. Do let me know in the comments if I want to improve in any areas or something such. And thank you guys for watching this, and be consistent. If you get any doubt, just post it in the comment section. I will be reading your comments and I will be helping you, either making a video or just replying to your comments. Okay, so that was it for today. Let's meet in next video, guys. Thank you.